Our speaker today is Cameron Atlas.
Cameron is now a main stage speaker across the United States and with a number of engagements under his belt from around the world.
It's always been about some kind of development and being the best version of yourself.
He plays a grand piano and now a guitar on stage and brings in the music that he's written. There are some incredible insights, some incredible conversations, some incredible things that you can take on and do straight away.
I needed to go through the pain and the challenges and the setbacks and the not knowing and the confusion and the overwhelm and the procrastination and all of these different things in order to be able to get to a point where I'm able to really go after it.
Someone who actually brings a different approach has the fundamentals that we all need to know and understand. It's a crazy life of adventure from a young kid in Outback Australia with a graduating class of 11 through to where I met him, getting our coaching qualifications in Melbourne, Australia, and then into selling everything and traveling the world. This conversation talks about where that decision has taken him, and I know you are going to get so much out of it. I am really thrilled to welcome Cameron Atlas to the Speaker Driven Business podcast. And I'm kind of a little bit excited about this because Cameron and I met well over a decade ago, quite some time ago when we were both doing our coaching studies. And pathways have taken a different way. But right now, I'd love to welcome you, Cameron. Cameron, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm really good, really good. So let's start off with, because people might have a misconception we're kind of neighbors because I just said we've known each other for so long. Where in the world are you right now?
I'm in my home in Austin, Texas.
Amazing. And how long have you been in Austin, Texas?
Austin, Texas, the last couple of years, the US since 2018.
Incredible. Now, I want to actually have a conversation around how that move happened. But first of all, Cameron Atlas, the speaker, what are you known for? In your own words, what's Cameron known for?
Yeah, the topics usually revolve around adaptability, resilience, continuous improvement, these types of topics. And I guess what I'm known for, it would be that the keynotes I deliver have live music on stage. So grand piano and guitar, and I've written a bit over 300 songs now, and so incorporate those into the talks I deliver, including the stories that I share about how they were written and the insights and lessons, and then usually perform a couple of those during the keynote itself.
I love that so much. It's that immersive. I love when an artist takes you behind the lyric and behind the photograph and behind the painting. And I didn't actually realize that was part of the format. I know that you have a grand piano on stage. I'm a childhood tragic, played piano. And so when I first saw you do that, I was like, wow. When did you first do it? Because I remember actually going up on socials when you first did it. And I remember thinking that was so different. So I'd love to know when you first did it, how that came about.
Yeah, so I was on this journey around the world. I'd sold everything that I owned and was staying in these places with grand pianos in them. And I just finished doing some filming in Colombia in South America and had spent 3 months there, was creating the soundtrack for that short film that I'd filmed there with nature and beautiful parts of Colombia on a grand piano in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And the first week I was laying down on the bed one day. I wrote a few songs in that first week as well. And this question popped into my mind out of nowhere of, if this all ended today, what haven't you done that you wish you had?
Oh, I love that
And
question.
such a great question, because I mean, we could talk about this back like 14, 15 years ago. You know, the little exercise was, imagine yourself on your front rocking porch at 80 years of age. What's your life been about to be great? And that's a fantastic thing to ask. And it can lead to some complacency.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, I've got plenty of time to make that happen. I've got 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. But if you're gone today, like, what haven't you done that you wish you had?
I
And
love
for
how that
me,
brings it into focus. Like, it's like
it
you and
really
I both
does.
did that training and we all did the exercise and what's your perfect average day and everything like that. But when you
Yep.
actually say, if you died today, if it all ended today, what would you regret? Like, I'm literally sitting here going, forget the speaking conversation. I want to go there. Let's keep the speaking conversation. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I love the way that brings it into focus. So yeah, so incredible. So what did that bring up for you?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it was, I mean, it immediately, there wasn't a hesitation. And this is where anyone who's listening to this, if you have an answer straight away, go in that direction. Like, go and explore that. Why is it there? Because there's usually going to be something there that is missing if you don't end up executing on it and be
Yeah.
starting to dedicate at least some form of time towards it, even if it's not full time. For me, it was delivering a talk with a grand piano on stage. I had no idea how to play the guitar at the time. And so, piano was the only one. I got booked for one in Australia a couple of years earlier, just before I left. And a couple of days before the event, the whole conference got cancelled.
Oh,
And it was the first one that I was meant to be delivering with a grand piano on stage. So I was a little boy from Outback Australia, super excited about, achieving what I dreamed of achieving. And that crushed me because
yeah.
I thought that was finally coming to fruition. Like this is finally happening. This is finally my dream coming to life. And at that time it was, nope, see ya.
See you later.
And so it was for the next couple of years, I just kept the two separate. I continued writing, continued creating on the music side. And I continued coaching and training and speaking on the professional development side. And that day it was, all right, if you really want this, go and make it happen. And it was
Yeah.
just this, dude, get off, just go and make it happen. Go and do it.
Get over
And it
yourself.
wasn't that I was, exactly right. It wasn't that I wasn't executing. I was still doing stuff, but was I
Yeah.
really challenging what's possible? Maybe not. And
Oh,
so I just reached out to anyone who'd listen, and rejection after rejection after rejection. No, 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 no. Eventually someone gave me a shot. They said, hey, we've got 2 events coming up on the same day. There'd be 700 people at each of those. And we think this could be a great way to open up one of the events and close out the second one. And November 2017, delivered both of those. And after the second one, there was just this beautiful conversation I had with myself of, all right, if that's possible, I wonder what else is. Like,
yeah.
what else how far could I take it? And it's been a wild experience since to, everything that's happened. So I'll pause there though.
Yeah, but I also love the fact that you didn't give up. It was rejection after rejection after rejection. You finally got it. So I'm actually going to touch back before we go any further, just on, because I know you're a young kid from the outback, right? You're from remote Australia. I see whenever on the socials, whenever you go home and visit family, and you always do something crazy for your nephews and nieces. How did that young boy from Australia land a dream that had music and speaking and coaching in it?
It grew over time. There were a few different pieces here because I don't think it's about having it all together to begin with.
Yeah.
It forms over time. Like, some people might have, okay, I know all the answers and straight away, and I'm going to go and execute on that. For me, there were a few moments. There was one moment, I think I was in grade 11 back home in Australia, and it was our end of year presentation night at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing somebody giving a talk, being inspired. It was like the guest speaker that was there. And I remember thinking, I want to do that. And it wasn't, I want to do that for a career, because I didn't even know it existed as a career, right? I was just like, I want to do something that is noteworthy enough for me to be on that stage delivering that talk. That was
Yeah.
kind of what it was, right? And so as time went on, I had been writing music since I was 15 years old. So I already had a lot of music that I created. And I still remember there was a devastating moment that happened back in 2010. It's the reason why I got into coaching in the first place. Was a young boy took his own life across the road from me. And I was the first neighbor with another neighbor to go across after his mother had found him. And it was a devastating moment to witness a family go through the horrors of everything that goes through when something like that occurs, and in the immediate aftermath of that. And I looked after the young brother and sister inside. They were like 3 and 7 years of age. I saw the father and the grandparents come home, in their first look of their faces of just this, there's nothing they could do to bring him back,
Yeah.
And around that time, I wrote this song about bullying and suicide. A few months after that, I enrolled in the coaching program that we both went through together. And I remember the first weekend of that initial program
Yeah.
that I went through, I rang the job I was at the time and resigned, because I knew that, oh, this is it. And I
Yeah.
didn't have it all figured out as to how I was going to make it happen, but I knew that what I was missing, because I knew I wanted to make an impact on the music side. That's been there right from the start. The first song that I wrote had the lyrics in it, follow your heart, it'll take you where you want. Like, it's always been about some kind of development and being the best version of yourself. And I felt the missing link was that I didn't have the education
Yeah.
to be able to actually help people. I knew how to write about it. I inherently knew how to write about this stuff, but I didn't know how to help people transform. And so the missing link was education in that regard, right? And the strategy around and processes and procedures to be able to actually generate and turn it into something great. And so right from the start, I knew that I wanted to find a way to blend these two things together, but I had no idea how I was going to go about that, or that it was all going to come together how it was. I just knew that I wanted to make an impact in that way, and it got clearer and clearer over time. But it took multiple goes at it
Yeah.
before I had the real courage to really go after it, like really go, you know what? Why not?
Why not?
Like, why can't I have a grand piano on stage? Why can't I deliver a talk and, utilize my own music for that and deliver it in a way that inspires people around the world? And so that took time though. It took years.
Yeah.
Years and years and years. I could definitely shorten it this time around. Like next time I just go, there's so many,
Just go
so many
there.
lessons, right? So many lessons that I could look back and just go, just really go for it, man, would probably be the
Yeah.
lesson, the thing that I would have told my younger version of self. But at the same time, I needed to go through the pain and the challenges and the setbacks and the not knowing and the confusion and the overwhelm and the procrastination and all of these different things in order to be able to get to a point where I'm able to really go after it.
Yeah. I love the
Yeah.
conviction in your voice. And that was one of the things, even when we were going through the coaching programs, you absolutely knew, and obviously it happened because of that weekend, you knew that this was your pathway. You knew that this was your destiny. You were completely convicted. When did the speaking element start to come into it for you? Was it kind of straight away coming out of the coaching, or did it grow? Like, how did speaking come into your world, not just
Yeah,
playing music?
speaking to begin with was more so because again, like when first going through it, I knew people spoke, but I didn't know it was
A
I didn't really
thing.
have the insight that it was really an industry
Yeah.
and how massive the industry is, right? How incredible the industry is. For me, speaking to begin with was a way of generating opportunities for the coaching side of the business.
Yeah.
And it still is a lot as well. Like there's still a large chunk of revenue comes from on the coaching side and opportunities come on the coaching side. But yeah, it was, I think about the initial engagements, the main focus was how do I generate opportunities that lead to me getting paid versus how do I generate
Mm.
opportunities that get me paid. Yeah. And each person's different as to how they utilize speaking, and there's no right or wrong. It just comes down to what outcomes you're aiming to achieve. So, but yeah, that's how it started. But it wasn't until giving the talk with the grand piano on stage, and it was in Canada, that was where the first engagement was, where the two came together, that I definitely, all right, how could I take this? But I would say though, what's really interesting about that is I gave the talk of my life in
Mm.
January 2020.
Really? So tell us about
Yeah.
that, because I could actually feel that
Uh,
viscerally. Like, they probably won't be able to feel that on the audio, but I just watching you as you said that, I could feel that viscerally. So tell me about the talk of your life.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible engagement. It was within North America. I was involved in multiple ways in this. There was private coaching on the first day. It was an incredible resort. The middle day was this philanthropic project where we went to a local school and the kids made musical instruments out of recycled materials. And then we blasted one of my songs through the speaker system and the kids got to star in their own music video. And then the final talk, I gave a closing keynote. It was, the beach was out to the side. We're under this cabana and it was incredible. We transported the grand piano there, and it was amazing because it was an incredible engagement. First up, the sheer amount of clients that came out the back end of that as well on the private side of things, and the sheer amount of opportunities that were in place, in January, February, that completely evaporated within the space of a number of weeks with what happened
Yeah.
in the world. And so I made a decision that I would focus more on the coaching side throughout COVID.
Mm.
And it was a very good decision for me personally because, coaching went very well during that time. And it wasn't until 2021, August 14th, 2021. And I knew that speaking was always going to be a part again. And it seemed like it's going to come back. It's going to open up again. August 14th, 2021, I chatted with my music producer and I said, "Hey man, do you think I should learn the guitar?" And he goes, "Yeah, you probably should." I said, "All right, I'll get a guitar then." So I got out the guitar because I thought, well, at some stage, I'm going to be playing these songs live on stage, probably needing to have a guitar at some stage. Right. But I didn't know how to play it. I'd play it a bit every now and then, but I always went back to the piano because my fingers hurt too much. Right.
I
And
totally understand that.
yeah. And so I thought, well, if I could just do an hour a day, that would be an incredible outcome. So I got the guitar delivered the next day. I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the time, and started with an hour a day doing that, as well as an hour of vocal training. And I was doing an hour of piano, and I started writing up these different stories from my life as well. So these were the key pieces that I was building up to the next phase of growth and execution when it came to the speaking side. And I started with an hour, and I ended up writing a song on the guitar a little while later that I sat back afterwards. And before I share that part, the reason why I was learning the guitar in the first place was it was going to enable me to impact at a greater level, because one of the objections when